guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for another episode of Paradise City. And what's that? Me. That's me. I'm in the GM spot. Johnny is in the player spot. How weird. The world is topsy-turvy. That being said, guys, this is our new City Mist show. If you guys want to support the channel and the things we do here, and all the games we play, you can subscribe here on Twitch or go to our Patreon. Links for both down below. If you want to join the conversation, talk about these games, join us in our Discord. Links also down below. And last but not least, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see there is the bar of corruption. That bar has two purposes. One, when it fills, I get to do whatever the hell I want, which was last time. There was a break-in and entering at a dead cop's house. So, that's fun. But more importantly, every dollar that goes into that jar goes back to these wonderful, beautiful, amazing players that you see here before you. With that, previously on Paradise City. The death of Sam Spade rippled through the city of New Arkham, felt by everyone whose life he had touched. Both his wake and funeral were attended by everyone from the dredges of the criminal underground to members of the New Arkham Police Department. But not all were satisfied with the declaration of his apparent suicide. Of note, an intrepid police detective and a career criminal, both taking extra care to dig into the circumstances surrounding his death. Meanwhile, across town, a young journalist finds himself buried in his work, too busy to pay his last respects, until he hears a call on the police scanner. Sam, describe what it looks like where Judd is working.
Yeah, so we are in Judd's quote unquote safe house. I'm imagining this is kind of just like his shitty one bedroom apartment where he works. I think maybe we like the opening shot is like we like hear the police scanner like rattling off something. He's probably like listening to some kind of aggressively alternative music. This is a reference for like one person, but like Pat the Bunny type deal. And he's got papers scattered all over his desk. We got the conspiracy board, right, with like a bunch of like different like people connecting, and we've got like Sam Spade's face somewhere off on the corner with just like some like writing to indicate that he's been killed, and like a big question marks because he's not sure who he's tied to. Then we like pan over to Judd. He's probably smoking like a cigarette or like a hand-rolled cigarette or something. And he looks like he's been up for days on end. He's probably drinking cold coffee. He's very much buried in his work. He looks like a freelancer who's been on a crunch, right? He's got coffee stained shirt. He's big bags under his eyes, tapping away at some beat up laptop. Jolted into reality by this police scanner.
So I imagine the camera kind of pans. It does that 360 around the room, but in every shot, there's a shot of Judd working on something or restringing yarn to the different pieces and reshuffling files.
For sure on the door, we have like that thing where it's like 12 like different locks, right? Like there's like the 3 bolts and the chain, and yeah, for sure.
So what kept Sam away? Like what kept Judd away? Your Sam. When you hear the police scanner that says 1062, 325 Washington Street, what kept that kind of jogs your memory, and then you see the date, right? What kept you away from both the wake and the funeral? What were you working on that you were so intense on getting accomplished?
Yeah, so he's convinced that Spade was tied into something bigger that he is maybe on the periphery of. He has in his head that there's this big underlying conspiracy going on somewhere in the city, and he knows that Spade was onto something. And I think he was probably researching the last lead he had from Spade, and was probably making some decent progress on this name, this Delia. And I think maybe like we see like he like hears the police scanner and like sees the date, and we like hear Judd just be like, "Oh fuck," to himself, and he looks over and we see he's like on like with the rest of his like shitty clothes. He has like his one nice outfit like set aside, like like he was like preparing for the funeral and then got caught up.
Okay.
So yeah, he definitely just missed it because he just does that zone out thing when he works.
All right, love it. Okay, so you hear the call 1062 at 325 Washington Street, and the 325 Washington Street jogs your memory immediately because you know that's the address for the Ace of Spades Detective Agency. You also take a second and you realize, having years and years of having that police scanner on and doing the job that you do, you recognize a lot of the police codes. 1062, especially in New Arkham, is a fairly common police code. That's a burglary. So you're hearing that now that you're realizing it, the day of the funeral of, Sam Spade, someone burglarized his detective agency.
Yeah. So I think as soon as he puts it together, he stands up and runs a hand through his hair. Probably puts out the cig and pulls out another one and lights it as he grabs his coat and heads out to he's got a reliable old sedan. Is one of my Logos power tags. So I go into old reliable. I'm imagining
a Honda Civic.
Yeah, something like that. Something like 5-10 years old. It's probably got
terrible
a CD player or a tape track instead of a USB outlet. Or any kind of Bluetooth. Maybe has to smack the radio to get the police scanner that's in his car to go. As we see him rev the engine, toss the another cigarette out the window as he peels out.
Okay. So the camera cuts to the exterior of 325 Washington Street, and you see that it is it's an older mill building, right? So it was probably built, 100 years ago. It is water adjacent, and this is in the day and age where they're taking old mill buildings and they're restoring them into either factories or warehouses or housing in certain places. This one has been reformatted into an office building, essentially, right? And there on the ground floor is a wooden door, brass knob, frosted glass that says Ace of Spades Detective Agency. Hanging beside this thing is one of those old school globe bulbs that you would see in the older police departments. It's maybe for decoration, maybe for nostalgia, but you can see that the lettering that used to say police has been carved off, and just the fixture itself is kind of there. And on the opposite side of that, you see there's a small creaking sign that bears the same logo, which is the Ace of Spades with an eye inside the spade, and it an eyeball, not the letter I, and it says Ace of Spades Detective Agency.
Is there a police line or anything?
So right now, as you pull up, I assume screeching tires, a hubcap kind of falls off, same kind of thing. Almost at the same time, an off-duty officer pulls up with the lollipop on top of their car, sort of screaming in, and maybe a good 30-45 seconds later, at a much more casual but fast pace, a nicer car pulls up. And you see all three of these cars, well, yours and the other two, pull up, park in some kind of fashion before any other official police get there. And as you open your door to get out of your rusty, trusty sedan, you see Artemis get out of the police cruiser and Friday get out of the nicer car. Molly, do you get out, or are you sitting in the passenger seat like you were told last episode?
No, she gets out.
Okay.
She gets out, but she's standing near the car and kind of cautiously.
Okay. So you see these three people get out of their car, clearly in black dress, black suit, right? They might have just left the funeral in which you failed to attend. All of you pull up to this place at the same time. You can kind of hear the faint scanner coming from Judd's vehicle, the same one coming from Artemis's vehicle, and Friday just sort of showed up.
So I think Judd was planning on just kind of ducking whatever police line and trying to inconspicuous his way into this crime scene. But upon he makes eye contact with Artemis and is just oh, motherfucker.
You're gonna have to wait out here, buddy, unless you got something for me.
That's always how you have operated, isn't it, Art? You always gotta be so transactional. I don't see how it's gotta be that way. You know, a good friend of mine just died, so
A good friend of all of us, she's gonna notice Friday at this point, died. And some of us are putting our bullshit aside and actually trying to figure something out. So, yeah, you can join in if you got something, but I'm not playing games with this one, dude.
Oh man. Yeah, so I think like he thinks for a minute and is like, look, I know that you were never a fan of him using me for information, but
I mean, look at how that guy's dressed. She's gonna point to Friday and his car. There's some exceptions being made.
Anyhow, I always have something, Art. You have to know that about me. So, what kind of assurances do I have that you're not going to fuck me over like I have a good feeling you will, like everyone in this goddamn city tries to all the goddamn fucking time?
Now, have you know that, listen here, okay, Art is a wonderful, upstanding lady, and I don't think she would ever double-cross you on anything.
Sure. Yes, yeah, okay. How long have you known? Yeah.
Look, obviously there's going to be some things I'm going to need you to keep out of your little write-ups for a while we figure this out. I think you're smart enough to know that. I want you to get your story, but I also want to figure this thing out. And she's going to actually lean in close to you. I've already got somebody following me. This is deep.
He wouldn't tell me exactly what was going on, but I did see him right before everything happened. I was doing some research for him. That's what I was finishing up. That's why I missed. Well,
to be clear, Sam, is Judd also whispering this information to Art, or are you saying it out loud casually?
I think he's I wouldn't say full-on whisper, but he's talking quietly.
So Friday, you being, I assume, the furthest away from this exchange, you hear all of the conversation except when Art leans in to this. You've probably seen him about town. He's a reporter. That's as much as I think you might know on him. But he leans in. Art leans in.
I'm sorry. I don't think you understand. Friday would know exactly who Art is.
No, Judd. But yes.
Okay, sorry.
Him on you.
Right.
Yes. No, I would definitely know. Yeah.
Okay. So you see Art lean into Judd and whisper something, and then they kind of like lean apart, and they're having a very hushed conversation. So you hear most of the exchange where like they seem to have some kind of working relationship to each other, although it seems
I wouldn't call it a relationship. Yeah. But yeah.
It seems at odds with each other. But there was
it's usually not nice.
Right. But there was a private exchange of information.
Yeah, I think Judd will just be like, look, you don't like me, I don't like you. We've had our problems in the past. I agree. We need to set this aside. Let's go inside, away from prying ears, and we can share what each of us know. Get this taken care of. He like saying this is like pulling out a cigarette and lighting it. It's like just rubbing his face.
You're still a freaking chimney, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, I've been up for about 36 hours now, so these are keeping me on my feet.
He's on pure adrenaline and nicotine at this point.
Exactly.
Art's gonna pull out her sidearm. It's very ornate. Not standard issue. Let me clear the place. You guys keep back for now. We'll figure this out. And she goes in, gun down, clearing each corner as they go in.
Yeah,
Molly's gonna walk up to Judd and she's gonna like hook her arm with his, and you can keep me company right here.
Detective, I can assure you that nobody is inside.
Oh, Great. I'm going to have more questions for you after this then.
As long as you're willing to answer mine as well.
Yeah, I think at this point we're going to have to grab a coffee, a drink, a table somewhere private. We'll figure that out, but let's go see what's going on. She still keeps her gun out because procedure.
Is there any chance that I would know who Friday is?
Friday,
Yes.
what of you would Judd know? I assume so. Judd is connected in the opposite kind of way as Friday would be, in that he believes everyone is part of this conspiracy. So what would he know of you, if anything, of your involvement in it?
So think about if you've ever seen the movie The Untouchables, there is the man in white who's always behind Capone. I think the character's name is Frank Neary or something like that, right? And you see him in different like gangster movies about Capone. You see him in different ways. You will always see Friday in the background of whoever is prominent in a gangster situation or in a criminal situation, but you will never see him standing, for the picture itself.
Sure.
So you would definitely recognize him.
Yeah, I think that. Yes, I would definitely.
And I think Art pointing out how he's dressed with his car, you got an idea.
So I think while he might not be one of the pictures on your conspiracy board, he might be in one of the backgrounds of the pictures on your.
Well, I don't know if he's in every background. Yeah. I mean, that might be like something circled.
Yeah.
He is that paranoid.
So I think Judd will just kind of raise his eyebrow at this person's involvement, but we'll just let Artemis lead the way.
Okay. So who all is going inside?
I mean, Art's taking the lead with their gun. She's still clearing it, even though he said he's empty.
And Artemis told us to stay behind, so Molly's gonna stay behind.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Art to give the go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Friday.
You will follow Art and will, without her seeing, pull their gun.
Okay. So Artemis, you head in. The door is unlocked. The entryway door is unlocked, and you see that the bottom floor of this place is kind of straightforward. There's it's old wooden floor, straight down, brick on either side. You see about halfway down on the side there is a one of those like pull apart freight elevators, and then another 20 feet past that is another door, almost identical to the exterior one, with that same logo and Ace of Spades Detective Agency, except you see that the bottom right-hand corner of that door of the glass has been punched in or smashed in or something like that. There's a missing chunk of glass that you assume is how the breaking and entering happened. The door is sort of, listing lazily in the breeze here as you proceed down the quiet corridor. Your nice. Are you wearing heels or are you wearing some nice flats? What's happening? What's your
flats, boots, boots of some sort.
So you hear that sort of clack down the wooden planks. You get it probably about halfway down before you hear a second set coming from behind you. Safe to assume one of the people you told to wait outside did not.
Does not wait outside.
Yeah. Do you glance back to see who it is, or do you just accept this and proceed forward?
I'm gonna glance back. Okay. She assumes it's Friday.
It's Friday.
But
Friday, you see the over the shoulder glance back. I assume some kind of a grimace.
Or probably an eye roll, to be honest.
That's fair. That's very
Jesus
fair.
fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Really?
So
can't I just do my job for 2 seconds?
I'm a cop, goddammit. So Art, as you get to the door, how are you clearing this room? How are you entering here?
Typical cop thing, gun forward but not up in case civilian. And you said the door's glass? What
so
is it
wooden
frosted
door?
glass?
It's a wooden door with a glass like inset in the upper part. And the bottom right hand corner of the glass door has been punched in so they could get their arm in and unlock the door, kind of thing.
But I can see through it.
It's frosted, so you can see through the hole, but the door itself is swung open, so you can probably see like a good quarter of the room through the door, the open door.
I'm gonna kick the bottom of the door open so I could see everything before
So
I go in.
the door swings open. You hear a couple pieces of glass scraping on the hardwood floor, and you, from the doorway, you can see the scene unfold of this room.
Glass inside the door or outside of the door?
Inside the door. Like it was punched
okay.
in from the hallway.
So they entered this way.
Yes. Okay. Yep. That's what it seems is like. So you you can see this. You can see have you been to Sam's office?
Yes.
Okay. So you see this this typical office, right? It's probably like 10 by 12 room. You see that there are 2 desks in there. One of them is completely tossed. You see that there are shelves on the walls. One of the windows behind it is open. This window leads to an alleyway. You see that there are closet open with like clothing strewn about. You see there's a bed here, like a day bed kind of thing, like perhaps someone was sleeping here. Tossed, everything tossed. The second side of the room, there is a desk. That desk is in immaculate condition. Nothing has been moved, and you can tell so by the fact that there's a thick veneer of dust coating that entire desk. You know this desk stands as a monument to Buddy Valiant, the partner that Sam Spade lost. You do see there are shelves and stuff on that side. That has also been tossed. It seems as though everything but this desk has been touched, and the room appears to be empty.
Windows to the outdoors, I'm assuming?
Yes, there are 2 windows to the outdoors. One of them is open. The screen, there's no screen in that one. The other one is closed.
She's going to go to the window, look out.
Okay. So as you kind of stick your head out, you see that it leads to a back alley. Your typical, noir city alleyway. There's a rusty drain pipe. There's a couple of tipped over trash cans, an alley cat kind of thing. And you can see that looking down one way, it leads to a street, and looking down the other way, it leads down to more of these industrial kind of buildings, the rear of these warehouses.
Any footprints?
You would have to roll an investigation to find that out.
Okay.
So, if you would like, go to your character sheet. You tell me which of the power tags you think apply to this kind of investigation. Check those boxes, and then roll that investigation for me.
I'm going to go with photographic memory, because if there is something, I'm going to want to remember it.
Yep.
General police officer skills drilled in tactics.
Sure.
I don't really think any of the magical stuff applies here.
Okay.
Investigate.
So you had I think you only have a +2, right? What did you add? Was it 3 tags or 2 tags? Photographic memory, police officer. Oh yeah, yep. Okay, cool. So 14. Hell yeah. So you get to spend your clues to ask me 3 questions, and I must give you straight answers or a solid lead. So you have 3 clues to ask me.
Question, she can also bank them for later,
You can bank them for later. Like if you don't have a question right now, they just have to apply to this scene.
Right,
somewhere.
Yeah. I'm probably look for anything disturbed on the windowsill, and footprints would be...
Okay. So question 1.
Because it's raining, correct?
It is raining, yeah.
It's always raining.
Yeah, assume it is a constant moisture in the air of some kind. A dewy mist, a downpour. It is balmy and wet. Yes, there is no footprints on the windowsill or anything like that. However, what you do see peeking around outside is that there is a bent up screen for a window below this window, as if perhaps it had been pushed out from the inside.
Okay. So it's seeming like enter from main door, exit through window.
That's
if
what
I
it
look
seems
down
like.
the alleyway, do I see anything? Car?
At this point,
tire tracks.
It's been several tens of minutes before you got here, after you got here from the call. So yeah, there's no one peeling away, kind of thing. You do see a
Dry spot from a car?
no, Which so we'll use that as your second clue. So what you see in the alleyway is a couple of tipped over trash cans, which could be from someone running down, or could just be lazy people. But you actually don't see a dry spot at all, meaning either the person was on foot, or if there was a car involved, they weren't here for long enough to leave a dry spot. So it was a quick thing.
Art's I'm gonna save one to investigate the room proper. But Art's going to dig into her jacket, pull out her radio. Any units in the area of that you said 1062?
Yep.
Keep an eye out. I believe our subject could be on foot. Anybody that looks suspicious, pull him over, frisk him.
Okay.
I'm on the scene.
So Molly and Judd, you both hear this kind of come through and kind of take that to mean there's no one in the building. Whether or not you decide to go in or Artemis comes back to tell you, but she's made a call to be on the lookout for somebody. Do you enter or do you hang out and wait until she gives you the all clear?
Judd is going to start walking towards the building to approach. Is Molly still holding my arm?
Yes.
I feel like he's gonna go to pull away and she'll let go of him, but I feel like this whole time she's been
just telling him the weirdest stories and asking him all kinds of really private questions to just keep him on.
I have a girlfriend.
How old? What does she do?
I think he's obviously his usual kind of crass, not super nonchalant self, but he's probably surprisingly good at keeping the conversation going, right? Because part of his job is to get info and talk to people and get info out of them. So it's kind of probably a weird kind of charm, but he's surprisingly charming in his own crass kind of disheveled way.
Okay.
But yeah, as he's going in, he's you coming with me? I figure she's got you here for some reason.
It can't be just because you look pretty.
I mean, yeah, sure. Come on, let's go.
Surely not.
She just starts to trail along.
What's the worst that could happen?
So as you two enter the building, Friday, that's about the time you get to the door of the detective agency, the interior door. What are you doing? You kind of see Artemis poke her head back in through the window and make the call. And that's when you're kind of arriving to the scene.
Have I been here before?
You tell me. Have you been here before?
I would assume so on occasion.
Okay.
Also, I come in as Artemis is making the call?
Yeah.
Do I see her looking outside and kind of paying attention to these things, or am I just coming in as the call is happening?
I assume there's a hand on the windowsill kind of thing, they're at the window and they make this call. So while you might not see them poking their head out of the window, you definitely see that they're next to an open window with no screen in it, making a call saying we might have a runner, be on the lookout.
Friday would take in the room. And besides the sort of tossed setting, is there anything that they would notice immediately that sort of stood out?
Roll me an investigation check.
All right. Let's see. Student of human behavior.
Okay. I like that.
That's a good one.
Consulting criminal and mastermind.
Okay, I'll take all three of those. Roll me an investigate with +3 juice.
Hold on a second.
Ooh, an 8. Okay. So on an 8, you get to ask me 3 questions. However, they may expose you to danger. They may be fuzzy or incomplete, or whatever you're asking the questions about gets to ask you questions as well. Okay, so what are your questions?
Buddy's desk.
What about it?
Is there anything that stands out? It looks immaculate upon first glance, but is there anything that stands out? having been here before,
Right.
Friday would have taken in this particular scene and noticed they probably would have come into this particular relationship with Sam after Buddy had died.
Okay. Here's how I'm going to play this out. I'm going to give you a yes or no answer and no further insight, and that's how it's fuzzy. There is nothing noticeable about Buddy's desk at all. So no is the answer to your question.
Using their awareness of means to hide things in a particular room, I would like to see if Friday can find a hidden safe or, a loose board or something else that might indicate where Sam might have hidden something else.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Is there anything hidden in the room?
And I'll take a yes or no answer again, and then have to play with that.
No, you know what? I'll give you an answer here. This one you got one. So as you kind of poke around this room, as you kind of feeling things out, you see that there is what amounts to a false panel in Buddy's closet.
Detective, do you have a moment?
Sure. If you could tell me what you guys saw, or if you saw anything.
No. Come here. There's something in the closet here.
She'll holster her gun, come over.
And so
keep her hand at her side near her gun, though. She doesn't quite trust him yet.
As Artemis approaches, Friday will then reveal the location and attempt to open it.
Okay, so yeah, you see this center cut kind of panel. You kind of pull the what's left of the hangers aside, and you can kind of push this thing in, and then slide it to the left. And as you slide this thing to the left, you feel a bit of tension and kind of give it an extra shove. Maybe it's an old kind of thing. And as soon as you give it that extra shove, you hear like a piano wire snap. You hear that ting. And then you hear this like whirring noise. Not a ticking, but like a whirring, like a winding of a clock.
Oh boy.
You have been exposed to a danger, Johnny.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you react first to this.
Third question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the danger I've been exposed to? What does it sound like?
So it sounds like I said, the piano string snap and then a whirring, like the twisting of a clock. But do you kind of peek your head in to like see what this noise might be? I'm not going to blow your face off. Don't worry.
No, I think that Friday is experienced enough in criminal behavior and the idea of hiding things that they would have a much clearer picture of what it is before they even reach their hands in or their head and to figure it out. Okay.
So as you hear this kind of noise, you hear this ticking, not ticking, this whirring, this like this winding sound of noise, and then you hear like the ting of a bell as you're trying to figure out what has just happened, and then you hear the shattering of glass. All of these noises are coming from inside this panel.
Sticks their head in at this point and takes a look.
You see that in this, there's a small box, maybe like the size of a shoebox, and on top of it is a broken vial, probably like 3 inches, 2.5 inches around. The vial has shattered, and you see that there is a essentially like a grill starter that is like click, 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 and you can see the spark start to go as if it's trying to catch whatever this liquid might be on fire.
Friday is going to face danger.
Okay.
And attempt to put something that will not allow the spark to catch
Okay, so this is our first combative roll. So roll me a face danger. What do you think? What power tags do you think apply to this situation?
Action speaks louder.
Okay.
Turn the tables.
Okay.
Hold on. I need to clear that, actually. Hold on just a second.
Because I feel like while he's figuring that out, Art has an idea that this is some sort of trap meant to scorch the earth type thing. She's familiar, at least on that level. Yep. She's gonna scream down to Judd and Molly to take cover and run back outside.
Okay, so you hear this call come from inside. To take cover as Friday has his head in the closet. Art, you lean back, you shout this. Judd and Molly, you hear this. Johnny, I have 2 power from you so far. Do you have a third tag to use?
I'm considering consulting criminal, and the argument here is, again, having enough awareness of the way that criminal organizations work and the idea of covering one's tracks. In fact, Friday might be the kind of person who would have thought of something like this, or even
set it up for him.
Well, not necessarily set it up for him, but probably told Sam, if he was looking to cover his tracks or needed to change circumstances very quickly, that this might be one way to do that.
Okay, I will take those 3 power. However, I'm going to activate your weakness for fend for yourself, PTSD.
You're a dick.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. So roll me with a +2.
Why the hell? Okay, so for whatever reason, they didn't actually take. And let's do this again.
This is fine.
Sure, right? Did that take as well?
Yeah, it took.
All right.
It should be good.
God, silly. All right.
Oh, yes! That is a complete failure. Oh,
wow.
Man. Wow-wee. Okay, cool.
Good start.
I am going to give you a choice. I am going to give either you a full status, and so it's you get a full status and you stop this from happening, or you get no status and whatever's about to happen happens. I will let you make the call as the consulting.
I will take
criminal.
a full status.
Okay.
I will prevent this from happening. However, I have one request.
Yes, let me hear it.
So as this is happening,
bargain your life away, please.
Well, no. This isn't about bargaining my life away. As this is happening, Friday will get engaged, and they will push Artemis back as far as they possibly can to position them away from the danger. Like, I'll push them behind Buddy's desk or whatever.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I figure I'm starting to move to hit the wall or figuring out what to take cover, and he pushes me.
I'm totally down for that. I'm going to give you the status, and you describe to me how you push and stop this thing from happening, right? You take a status burned 2. As this thing ignites. It is an incendiary meant to burn down this place, essentially, to stop anyone from getting away with any kind of evidence. You are halfway in the closet. You shove Artemis. How do you shove and also put the fire out? With your body, I guess.
You got a trench coat on or something? Something blankety?
So now that the they've got their head in there and they're trying to solve this. Mm-hmm. What does the mechanism look like?
So it is it's a metal shoebox, basically, with like a latch lid. The lid is kind of closed. On top of it, there is this mechanism that kind of sticks up. And inside that mechanism was a glass vial. The glass vial has shattered. You assume it's like some kind of pressure release. And now the 2 prongs that are close together above this liquid is sparking back and forth. And as you go to reach for it, that spark catches and this thing ignites. And whatever the liquid was highly flammable, and whatever the contents of the box itself was, you assume is highly flammable. Perhaps maybe something of note that was in there as well.
All right. So they'll push as they see it sparking. They'll kind of pull their hand out for just a second without even saying anything. Just shove Artemis like on the shoulder or something, and just shove her towards behind one of the desks. And at the same time, reaching in with their other hand, will reach in for like a handkerchief, and will just push in with it, and then just like kind of put their hand right in the middle of this whole thing, and push their hand right in the center of this, and try to scoot the liquid or push the liquid away so that it doesn't continue to spark and flame. And using the handkerchief, just kind of pull this back so he's not or they are not completely burned as they're trying to push the liquid away and bring the box away from it, so that there is not as much sort of like contact or explosive or whatever.
Sure. As you do so, you see, your arm from like fingertips to like mid forearm is coated in this kind of liquid. It seems to be like cloying and sticking. You're able to get this, but when you grab that handkerchief around the box to pull it towards you, you find that the box itself is incredibly hot as you kind of pull this thing towards you. Essentially, you have stopped the fire from spreading to the office, and in the meantime, you have badly burned your nice suit and your hand.
Can I see that the office is on fire?
The office isn't on fire yet. There's a small
we're
fire.
in a closet.
Yeah, there's a small fire
Okay.
in the closet, and he so Friday just stopped it from actually igniting the entire office.
I was just I'm trying to get a scope of how big this is. From
Imagine
where
like an office trash can, like a desk side trash can.
Oh, okay.
Imagine like a
So
tiny
not
trash
big.
fire. Yeah, no,
Not big.
No, it's probably like if you lit a metal shoebox on fire, and that's like a small, like when you burn your significant other's notes in high school. That size. We've all been there. So that's what you kind of pull this box, and the box is hot to the touch, even through the handkerchief, Friday. But while you pull that out, we're going to cut to Molly and Judd in the hallway. You hear this call of get out while you can, or something like that. And then you
Take
hear
cover.
Or
Yeah.
take cover. And then you hear a shove, like somebody bumping into something, and then some scrabbling noises around in there. What do the two of you do?
I will shout, everything okay?
Yeah, what's going on up there? What?
No, get outside, as she like tumbles behind the desk in case it's blowing up.
Oh, fucking Christ. God damn it. God. Just starts
Come on.
looking at it, turns and just books it the other direction.
Fantastic. So we'll cut back to Friday. You have this hot box in your hand. What are you doing?
Friday is going to slide it out as much as they possibly can out of the hole, let it drop to the ground, and immediately run for a fire extinguisher or something else to put out the smoldering sort of flame thing that's going on their arm, on their jacket.
Sure.
Just kind of looking around. And if they pass Artemis, they're going to give them a disapproving look.
Okay.
Wow.
What I will say is
Right back to you.
you can roll me a change the game to ensure that there is a fire extinguisher available to
Oh,
you.
you're gonna play that.
Oh.
You're gonna play,
Oh.
yeah. All right. Let's see. Student of human behavior.
Okay, I'll take that.
That makes sense.
Friends everywhere. Knowing that.
Okay, I'll buy that for $1.
I'm trying to survive here.
I get it.
And turn the tables.
Okay, I'll take all three of those. So roll me a change the game with 3 power.
I'll take it.
13. Hell yeah. Okay, so you have 3 juice. One of them is to create a story tag. That is fire extinguisher. You have one. You have 2 additional juice to create as you see fit. Yeah. You can bank those for this scene. So right now you kind of scramble out. You give that disapproving look to a huddled Artemis as you kind of turn into the hallway. You see Judd and the ass end of Judd and Molly leaving the building, and you see next to the freight elevator there is a large fire extinguisher hooked onto the wall there. You can sprint down, grab that thing, and make it back in time before this smaller fire spreads.
So I've got 2 juice, right? Left?
2 additional.
So, all right. So I would love for you to figure out how narratively this works, but
Okay.
I'd like to reduce my status to 0.
Ooh. Interesting. Give or reduce a status 1 tier per point of juice. Okay.
Art after she falls is going to pop up and try to assess the situation. So if you'd like to use her to help him, but
I will say
fine
this.
by me.
I will say this. You next to as you kind of grab this thing and you head back inside. As you walk into the room, you kind of do a cursory scan as you're headed towards the closet, and you do see that scattered on the ground of things that were tossed out of Buddy's closet. There is a first aid kit. This first aid kit, when applied, will reduce your status by 2. So you still look badly burned, and your suit is burned, but you don't take any negative on any rolls because of it. So you have bandaged your hand and found a fire extinguisher. Art, as you kind of see this, you kind of like turn to see this disapproving glance. You see him dart out of the room, quickly dart back inside, carrying an extinguisher. You realize that there's a small metal box that was kind of tossed out of the closet, and you see the little tongues of fire in the closet that Friday is clearly about to extinguish.
I'm assuming I can see the first aid kit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna exchange as he comes running in with the fire extinguisher. Go take care of the fire.
Okay.
So he can focus on healing
Perfect.
immediately.
So yeah, Friday, you see that Artemis is holding the first aid kit to you, ready to take the fire extinguisher to blast out these flames. Do you make that transfer and heal yourself up?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Artemis, you see that there is a small alcove in here, where Friday was. You see the fire. You kind of spray that out. Whatever this viscous, sticky liquid is on fire. You sort of easily spray that out, and you turn back to see a Friday with a bandaged arm. Now, Judd and Molly, you have been outside for approximately 60 seconds since you heard the get out kind of thing. No one else has rushed out of the building, and you have been given no quarter to return to the building. What are the two of you doing as you are out here?
Do you think we should go inside and check on him? Maybe you should go inside and check on him. You know,
Art's a cop, so I think she's got it, under.
Yeah, but I mean, she's basically by herself, and I don't even know this this person. He's kind of creepy.
Look, I don't even have fucking insurance. You know how goddamn expensive going to the hospital is? I mean, they're covered really well under in the police healthcare. They do. It's a shit job, but I mean. You say they don't cover, but they actually have pretty nice, payout for as long as you're paying the life insurance. It's a good plan.
Well, you know what? Fine. And she, so Molly's gonna kick off her heels.
Nice.
Have one with, she can use it, and she's gonna start walking in.
You can't go in there alone.
What do you mean? We don't even know what's going on.
Okay,
We gotta make sure they're okay.
Oh, fine. We'll go. Well, Jesus.
And Molly's gonna she's gonna carefully open the door. Audie?
Yeah, I think.
Is everything okay? Are you alive? Did that crazy man try to murder you? I've got my shoe. I will. Well, I don't know what I'll do, but it's okay.
It's okay. It's not great. Do you need an ambulance, a medical person? She says to Freddie.
I can call
Crazy man.
What?
Crazy man?
Look, we're all still getting to know each other.
Detective, I know you very well. I know her very well, too.
Yes, you are good at the creeping. We get it. That's why she's freaking out.
I'll take care of myself, thank you. Just don't let anything else burn.
You're the one that set off the fucking closet. Why are you blaming me for that?
I think
Do as I say.
Did you just say he said something off?
Excuse you? She starts to get her cuffs out and she looks at him.
You can arrest me, but I'll be out before the papers are finished.
Oh, I know you will, but you'll get to spend that time not looking at what's in that box.
I have a burn and your life saved. I think you can owe me.
You cannot blame me for touching something you should have investigated better.
I'm sorry.
She puts down the fire extinguisher. She starts walking towards the box.
What are you two setting on fire? Why are you lighting fires?
We didn't light fires. There was a trap in the closet to burn things that he didn't want people getting their hands on.
As you know, Judd, they didn't start the fire. It was always burning.
It was always burning.
I assume Jed and Molly have like stumbled their way up to the office now.
That's kind of what I was imagining.
Yeah, for sure.
Molly still like she has her shoe, and she kind of peeks around and she sees Friday.
Okay.
Can we just for a second just imagine in our heads the one high heel walk, the click?
Oh no,
thump,
she took them
click,
both off.
thump.
She took them both off, but she's still a lot shorter, a lot.
Oh,
So
God.
at this point, Artemis realizes the cops are coming. There's this box. And the investigation so far into this has been shit.
What?
Can I like go take a look at this box, or are they gonna block me from
Artemis is like on top of it.
ashes?
But before that, we need to get this box out of here before the cops show up. And everybody should be very shocked that she has said that.
Is that what you're trying to burn?
Ooh.
Getting rid of
That's-
evidence here, Art? Or
No, that's what Sam had set up to burn. Think about this, Judd. Jesus fucking Christ.
Awesome. Well, in that case, you're finally playing for the right team as far as I'm concerned. I know a great place where we can stash the evidence. No cops are getting to it. Trust me.
Molly, what is in, okay, if I open up this box, what is it going to be? Papers?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I don't know. You have to open the box.
Okay, I'm opening the box.
Okay. As you open the
It's more
box,
fire.
it also explodes in fire. You hear a tick and a whir. No. As you open the box, it is a plume of smoke just sort of poofs out of this thing. It is acrid. And you see as you open the box, as this smoke kind of clears, what was in the box is old school film.
And it's burnt. It's dead. Okay.
Molly's gonna peek over her shoulder. You know, I hear that stuff's really flammable.
Don't worry. Look, Art, as long as you can help me get it out of here, I can make sure that you can tell what's on it.
She's going to take what's left of it. She has an evidence bag. She's going to toss it in the evidence bag. And without thinking about what she's about to do, she's going to shove it into the side of Molly's bra and say, the two of you go to this coffee shop around the corner. We'll be there soon.
I just love Molly's contribution. I hear that's very flammable. You should watch out with that.
She's going to point to the window. Go out that way.
I gotta go out the window?
Judd, Friday, coffee shop, 2 blocks, because I know where things are. I don't know. I'm going to say
Sure.
2 blocks
Yeah.
north, whatever.
Are we going to that one coffee shop? Or a coffee shop?
A coffee shop. I don't
Okay.
think she's ready to go there yet because she wants to compare notes before she goes, by the way,
Sure.
I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Okay, but wait. But what if you're not there in 5 minutes?
I'm just going to tell them to take care of the fire, give me a call, and get the fuck out of here as fast as I can, okay? Just get out of here before they get here.
You better call me if something else happens, okay?
Yes, you got my number. I'll be there soon. Judd, behave. Friday, she just waves her hand off and turns to the door where she's gonna go halfway down the stairs to make it.
Anyone need a ride? I got a car. Just follow me if you want to ride. Just gonna go out the window.
And Molly gracefully tumbles out of the window. she's pretty like flexible and acrobatic. So I think she's just like
that makes sense. Do you leave the window, walk down the back alley, circle the building, completely negating the use of the back window to get your car?
No, I guess I'll leave my... Well, but the problem is, like, if I leave my car there, then the cops will also know that I'm there.
I'm just putting this out here. You guys do whatever you want with it.
I mean, she told me to go out the window, but I'm not leaving my car.
Okay, so
yes, that's what I do.
Okay. Friday, do you follow suit?
How far away is the coffee shop that we're supposed to be going to? Is
A
it
couple
like
blocks. It's walkable.
2 blocks.
Okay, so as Judd is starting to like, what are you doing? We have to go out the back window. Are you gonna go up front?
The car's registered under my fucking name. They'll know who was. They'll know I was here.
Look, I am not getting arrested today. Okay, you go get your car. I'll meet you at the coffee shop. I'm gonna walk.
Okay, have fun.
And Molly starts walking.
I'm sure your feet will hurt in those giant fucking heels, so...
I got him off, darling. You don't even have to worry. And she waggles him behind her as she's walking.
I love
Ringworm.
that. I love that Molly is dolled up. Is dolled up in a black dress, holding her shoes in her hand in the morning. Looking like a walk of shame to the coffee shop.
Yeah,
10
I would
out of
imagine
10.
she's smart enough to like fuck up her hair so it looks like she's been into something.
Oh, Friday, do you also slide out of the window? No.
Oh, God.
No.
Yeah, I figured.
They want no part of this nonsense.
Friday steps out the door, takes a left, goes to the back stairs, walks down the flights of stairs, and goes out the back door.
Okay.
If he runs in, or they run into any cops, it's a nod and 100.
Okay.
And moving on.
So there are no cops out the back entrance. You kind of come out in that same back alleyway. You see an exchange between Molly and Judd at the exit of the alleyway, and you see them go in different directions. Where do you go? Do you head back around and follow Judd to your car, or do you follow Molly to the coffee shop?
So Friday always takes a car that's a service car of some kind.
Okay.
So no, they don't go back to their car because the car is gone. Friday's aware of the location that Art is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Will make their way there, and while they're doing that, they're going to call their individual who was on the building and find out more about what they know about who they're following.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So we'll have you in the car. We're going to cut back to Artemis. Art, what are you doing in this building alone now that you're here waiting for the cops to kind of shoo them off?
She's gonna re-grab the fire extinguisher, radio in. There was a small fire. It's contained. We're gonna need all sorts of cleanup here. She's gonna wait for like the first officer or two to show up, give a short story about how it was just her that arrived.
Mm-hmm.
And it's paining her to do this.
Sure.
Stop the fire. There was just this box. There's nothing in it.
Okay.
She'll give the details. They came in the door. They went out the window. She's going to say she slipped on the stairwell, so cover the other footprints.
Makes sense.
And then, which she would have done before they got there. And call me if you need anything. But
okay. So before this
scene
before this scene ends, you have 2 clues left to spend.
I do. While I'm waiting, is there anything else that seems off in the room? And I think I would definitely. The desk seems too obvious. I would look towards the bed first.
Interesting. The bed hasn't been slept in days.
Anything weird in the clothes that are nearby?
you can see that there is a actually everything from the clothing from Sam's side of the closet, or Sam's closet rather, is all fresh clothing. None of it has been like used recently. It's like there's like a dirty pile of clothes. These are all clean clothes. Your best guess is he's been sleeping. He's been somewhere else, and in the same suit for days before whatever happened to him happened to him.
Coat stand?
The coat stand, there is no coat on it, but there is a coat stand. And you know, in typical noir fashion, he has a tan trench coat.
Yeah.
And the fedora is missing, obviously, as well. Your typical detective issue fedora. You see that, so he must have been out for some time before.
Yeah.
That's one clue. You got one more if you have anything. And if you guys have...
If he left his hat...
Oh, go ahead.
If he left his fedora, how's he going to tip his hat to the ladies, Mike?
Well, no, he didn't. He took it. The fedora and the trench coat are both gone.
He was tipping his hat to the ladies.
You have one more clue, so one more question, and the rest of the cast can help you out if they have an idea on how to spend that, so you don't lose it.
The only other thing I would everybody heard what I said on the radio, so I'd want them to keep an eye out for anybody that looked suspicious, particularly probably Molly and Judd. Anybody walking hurriedly, anybody with scratches on their hands.
Okay. Scratches. Oh yeah, from the glass. That makes sense. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, I will inform you if anyone of your police contacts finds anyone matching that kind of description, right?
Okay.
Cool. So we cut to Friday in, a Lincoln Town car being driven. I assume you got a car, right? Or are you walking to the shop?
I was going to walk the 2 blocks.
Okay, so you are walking, you kind of flip open your burner flip phone and you are calling one of your contacts. How does that conversation go?
When the phone picks up. Mm-hmm. So, have you found them yet?
Great. Roll me an investigation.
Aha!
What are we using for tags on this investigation?
Mastermind.
Okay.
Consulting criminal.
Okay. I'll buy those too.
Yeah, and I think that's all I've got.
You think that's all you got? Let me see here. Let me take a look at what else you got here.
Or maybe Friends Everywhere.
I'll take Friends Everywhere.
Yeah.
So all 3 from Right Hand Man.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take all 3 of those, and I won't mess with you at all.
You're welcome to. I'll take a 9.
A 9. Okay, so you have 3 clues, and they may be fuzzy or expose you to danger. Okay, cool. So what are your 3 questions here?
Was the person able to follow them?
So you ask, were you able to follow them?
Mm-hmm.
He explains to you, yeah, boss. I followed him to a point, and then I stopped. He took a turn into the Downs, and you know that the Downs are like Down City, like, think Batman, right? It's like that's the part of the city where like even top level criminals don't really go into. Like it's a bad part of town. It's like a Skid Row kind of like nasty kind of area.
What can you tell me about them? What did you see?
Okay, interesting. He tells you the person was wearing a hoodie, like a black or like a dark or like a dark navy kind of hoodie. The hood was up.
Nice touch.
They were about like between 5'8" and 6 foot tall. I think they were fairly tall when I was kind of following them, and they had red Chuck Taylor sneakers, bright red.
Do we have someone in the Downs that I can contact?
I will say that you do, but you know that contacting him will cost you a favor. And that is a danger you will have been exposed to.
Okay. I will think about that, and
as you end this phone call, you hear woo, woo, woo in the distance on the phone. And then a screeching of tires. And then you hear, oh no, boss, I gotta go. And then click. As if perhaps the cops are picking up whoever that guy was for suspicious activity.
okay.
And then we cut to, unless anyone has a scene they would like to play out, we cut to the diner. The three of you arrive first, Friday, Molly, and Judd. You all arrive around the same time. As you pull up to this diner, it is called, it's called Once Around the Block Donut Shop. Yeah, you guys all get here at about the same time. What are you all doing?
Go ahead.
Oh, Molly's just gonna walk in like she owns the place, like she does most places. She's gonna go up to the counter and she's gonna order herself an Americano and you can get herself a donut.
Okay.
Just happy as can be, and then goes to sit down at a booth.
You go in and casually order an Americano, and the young 17-year-old, pimply-faced, redhead, scrawny kind of kid looks at you and goes, yeah.
You know what it is, right? You know how to make it? It's real easy.
It's coffee?
Espresso. So, I mean, kinda.
Okay. And then...
How do you work at a coffee shop and not know how to make an Americano?
It's not a Starbucks.
Friday will walk up behind her. It's not the kind of thing that they serve here.
I have a black or a decaf.
Give me black. Fine. Jeez, it's just espresso in our water.
And he's just pouring and not looking at the cup at all.
Friday will
Adjust herself.
Friday will hand over a 20 to calm the individual.
Okay. He spills, and you see him grab the lid and sort of slide it over, and then see the 20 and slide the 20 back behind the counter. And he goes, "And you, sir?" Yeah, you can see him glancing down at your bandaged arm.
And you didn't see anything once we leave.
Okay. That was weird.
Vicious at all.
And Molly takes her coffee and her donut.
I think Jed's just sitting at a table already, just kind of tapping his hand impatiently on the table, he clearly
Scoot
just
over,
doesn't want to
Jed.
be here. He's
I feel like Judd pulls out a thermos from his car and pours his own coffee.
He's too cheap. Yeah.
he's yeah. As soon as Molly sits down, he's like, "Come on, give it over. We can."
Can you believe they don't know what Americano is?
It's a diner, so yeah, I can believe that.
Sitting down at the
Never go to this
booth,
part of town.
Mm-hmm.
Friday will look over at Molly and says, "I don't imagine that Judd knows what a Americano is."
Hey, look here. Just because I don't wear fancy clothes like you doesn't mean I don't know
It's not even a fancy drink. It's just espresso and some hot water, and that's all it is.
What type of cheap bourbon do you have in that coffee there you're drinking there, Judd?
Look, I've been trying to stay off the. If you must know, I prefer Bullet. It's not the cheapest, so yeah, it's okay. Look, we're not here to talk about my drinking habits. Trust me. If there's anyone who can help you with whatever the fuck you did to that film, it's me. I'm the only one who can.
How's that
possible? I can't. Friday was it?
Yes.
I don't really know what your involvement is with Spade or with Art.
He was a
Honestly,
friend.
I have
She's a
trouble
cop.
believing you. Yeah, that's part of why I'm having trouble believing the friend part. Anyhow, trust me, this is what I do. You can't do shit with that film. So why don't you just let Molly here, nice lady that she is, give me the film. I will take it back to my safe house and get it taken care of, and then I'll let everyone know what's on it.
How do we know you're not just going to take it and run off with it? How do we know that you're not involved in all of this because you weren't at the funeral?
Molly, let me be very clear with you. It doesn't fucking matter if I take it and run away with it because you guys can't fucking do shit with it.
How do you know? You don't know the kind of connect. No. You don't know the kind of connections that I got. Okay.
So I figure at this point I'm walking in and they're being the most unsettled, except for Friday, who's probably sitting there drinking his regular coffee and just taking it all in as the human behavior words. Yeah, he's just taking in all their stuff. I'm looking at the nervous coffee boy. I just rub my head.
You open the door and you see that this is, your typical diner door. On the glass it says once around the block, and it's in a square. As you sort of like open it, and like cling, 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 as the bell rings, and you hear this cacophony of noise coming from, and as you look over, you see that all of the other, there's only like 4 or 5 other like regulars are all like trying to calmly eat their food, but like occasionally just glancing over at the obnoxious family that just kind of pulled in, right? And they're making that side eye as you open the door and see your troop of people.
I figured this is a place I go every couple of weeks. Yeah. Like somebody might recognize me, but this isn't like somewhere I stop all the time.
It's a good Sunday breakfast place.
I'm gonna slide another 20 over to the guy. I'm like, whatever that mess over there is having, I'm covering. If it's already been covered, then just keep it. I also need a coffee and I don't know, a sandwich. And she just stumbles over the table, slaps her hands down to try and like, could we take it down a couple notches?
Look, Art.
Yes, children. Mom has arrived. You
children.
Okay. Friday, chill it with the condescending bullshit. Judd, calm your asshole. Molly, you're beautiful, but oh my God, please take it down a notch.
It's in my nature to be loud. I'll try my best.
Look, we don't need people looking at us right now. We need to have a civil conversation about this. I realize we're all hyped up because fire, our friend is dead. This situation fucking sucks. I just lied to a bunch of officers about y'all even being there, so we're all giving up something here.
I light a crush all the time. It's not that hard.
Here's what I mean.
She just gives her a look like, please don't tell me that.
Okay, well let's cut to the chase, right? Are you sure? She's gonna lean into Artemis. Is this a safe place to talk about all of this here?
If we keep our voices down, yes.
You don't think it's gonna be weird for me to pull a bunch of film out from my boob?
Leave it there for now.
See, I told you, Judd.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get this across to all of you. I'm saying that I'm the only person that I know who can do anything with burnt up piece of shit film. And you may know some other people that do, but anyone that you know that can do anything close to what I can do, you do not want anywhere near whatever the fuck is on this film. Because it's something bad, I promise you. If
what are your qualifications?
Was trying to light it on fire.
All right.
Whoa. I agree with the young lady over there. Judd, what are your qualifications for restoring this film from ashes?
Artemis just puts her head on the table because she knows Molly and Judd and who most of their regulars are, but she's just like, we don't have time for this.
I am a freelancer, I am an investigator, and I am a journalist. And while most of those things sound like they have nothing to do with getting information off of things that have been busted to hell, I can promise you that it is not uncommon in this city for people to try to cover their tracks sloppily by, breaking shit.
And I am an uncommon criminal who has similar resources to you and probably better means to make it happen. I need a better reason than that.
Everybody, do we trust this guy?
Look, okay, everybody. We all have resources. Mine right now, amazingly, seem to be the most unreliable. Can we have a conversation before we decide what fucking happens with the film so we can A, all learn about each other, B, know what each other knows so we can actually figure out who the fuck killed our friend, and C, realize that we all have something to lose in this, okay?
I think we already all know who killed our friend. We just can't prove it yet.
I will say,
Look,
that is the first time anyone has said out loud that you believe him to have been killed. So there's a little bit of weight in the air behind those words. Everyone has been saying suicide or dead. This is the first time anyone has actually used the word killed.
Killed
so
our
that
friend.
word kind of hits everyone a little harder than the rest of it.
As she says that, Molly is going to kind of like lean back and kind of like a more like becoming more passive in the situation.
look,
Okay, well, what do we need to do?
we don't know it was him. You do. I don't know where he's been. Molly doesn't know where he's been. She rubs her forehead.
I mean, he was
This
at the
isn't-
club not too long before,
This isn't something he typically does, so she reluctantly takes the envelope out of her jacket, puts it on the table. Judd, I need you to chill your ass for a second. I know you're hard up about my family. You're hard up about me being in cahoots with them. So I need you to take this as my sign of faith. She's going to open up the envelope and put the pick. She's going to slide the pick down the envelope. She's not going to touch it. I would like to have somebody run the fingerprint on this. See who touched it last. Friday, you found this somewhere to do with Sam, yes?
Among the effects surrounding his body after the wake.
Okay, so we don't know when it arrived on his body, so that's...
Well, I would assume that it arrived after the beginning of the wake when everybody was filing in and paying their respects, and sometime before everybody left but me.
So you think this happened at the wake? She raises her eyebrow.
I didn't see your brother. I know who he is. I
Right.
didn't know that was his pick, though.
Well, he has some habits that could get him in trouble. She kind of
I'm
looks
aware.
at Molly a little bit. This is still... He was studying to be a doctor at one point. He doesn't usually hurt people, so I want to find out how he is involved, but I don't think he did it. This is a clue down a path. I agree. My brother is an asshole. I'm not going to sit here and defend his behavior. My father usually likes to try and clean that up. Trust me, it's not me. I've tried to get him help. But we need to take this one step at a time. I need to get a fingerprint off of this, see if there's any fingerprints at all. I also need to find out where the fuck my brother is. Because I don't have... Go ahead.
Does anybody know?
I've been calling my father. I've been calling him. Molly said it's been a few days.
Those are the usual suspects. Who would your brother go to if he needed to hide?
She looks at Molly. You would know better than I would on that one.
I can ask a few questions whenever I get back to the club.
Okay.
Far be it from me to offer you a plan of action here, Art, but it sounds like we may have a divide and conquer situation here.
Yes.
It sounds like Friday, Molly, you may be the ones who know how to find people. I get that feeling out of you, Friday. Well, Molly, you just said you could. Now, Artemis, I don't know anybody who can develop fingerprints, certainly nobody who I trust. And as far as all of you, I understand that I'm going to have to give you some assurance that I can actually do something with this film. And the long and short of it is I can't give you a good explanation. I can just tell you that for whatever reason, the tools have been working way better for me than anyone else has any right for them to ever work for any of them. It's fucking incredible. I can't explain it. All I can say is, I think I can do this, and you gotta trust me.
Okay.
Now, I do have one other thing.
Oh, God.
Because, like I said, you're gonna need an insurance. I talked to Spade before he died. Came to the house, and, well, he was looking for someone.
She leans back. She looks at Friday. Any of this sound familiar to you?
I had a similar visit from Sam as well. I suspect we may have had similar circumstances that occurred here. I will be happy to share.
Well, it sounds like if y'all are looking for Polly, I would start with whoever this Delia person is, because that's who I was asked to look into for Spade. So there you have it.
Delia. Does that name sound familiar to Friday?
Or
it
me?
does not.
Okay.
Does it sound? I don't think it does. I don't think it sounds familiar to either one of you.
All I know, she was somehow involved with Polly, your brother. I didn't really get much farther than that. I was barely scratching the surface. To be completely honest, I only have a first name. I just have a feeling that I'm onto something, noticing that connection.
Age range? She scratches her head.
Thinking 18 to 26.
All right. I'll see who I can find that's a little more discreet in my department. Get this run, see if she's got a record, see if she's got associates. Friday, can you do that on your end?
I just need a full name and a description.
I'll see if I can get her full name. Did your guy see anything in or out of that building?
Before I get to that, I actually will share the little details of my visit with Sam, because I have a feeling this will be a little bit more interesting now that that Judd has shared his. He wanted me to avoid something. He wanted me to avoid getting involved at all. Detective, I'm sure you know my reputation, at least on some
Ideas, yeah.
I'm involved everywhere. But his investigation, and it was, Mike, it was the Yamashiro or the...
Yeah, the Yamashiro Building. Which is the building he was found outside of.
Right. The Yamashiro Building, the Yamashiro Corporation, he wanted me to stay away from them. That's a tall ask. It's a tall order.
Yeah, I am. I didn't get my meeting like you two, but I went to where we were supposed to meet, and one of those people saw me. So, yeah. Any details you can get on your end would be helpful. I'm definitely going to break off from you guys in case they are following me. And she sighs. If you have anybody that wants to keep an eye on my place or my precinct for anything out of the ordinary that you trust.
Of course, Detective. Of course.
She looks like sick to her stomach asking for this.
No.
And Molly, what about you? Before we all break off to
Well, I've got this film. If this guy here, we are trusting him to do this, is going to do it. I'm going to go with him with the film. I have the night off. I don't go back in until tomorrow.
And then, Judd, can you go with her to whoever she wants to talk to? Artemis realizes that this is an ask. She gets like $50 out. She hands it to him.
Yeah, no, he's just gonna like wave it away. He's like, I got it. Don't worry about it.
She hands it to Molly instead. Who she knows will take it. As soon as she sees you go now, she's just gonna be like, I know, she'll take it.
Get a proper Americano.
Before
Yes.
we break this little group off into pieces, Detective, what can you tell me about the Downs?
Oof. Downs. A lot of my guys don't like to go down there, and the few we have that go undercover, we get breadcrumbs and then they get killed. It's a tough part of town. I know where all the entrances are. I could maybe get some information on a certain part. I could grab something out of my closet that makes me look different and take a look.
You can't go there by yourself, Artie.
I agree with Molly.
If you go into the Downs, I'm going with you.
No. You're with Jed. Friday, you're going to put somebody...
I already have, and that's the problem. So, Detective, your friends in the blue and the black have picked up a friend of mine who is on the edge of the Downs following whoever it is that spent a little time at our good friend Sam's home away from, well, actually, it was just his home, I guess. So, I've got 2 pieces of information for you, maybe 3, and then I'm going to make my own inquiries, and it might cost me, but I suspect this is important enough to broach that conversation. The individual we're looking for made their way into the Downs. No determined gender of any kind. They were about 6 feet tall, wearing a dark hoodie up, and red Chuck Taylors.
Would I recognize those red Chuck Taylors?
Would you recognize those Chuck Taylors? How do I want to play this out? It's going to have to be a roll, because that's how this game works. Yeah, you know what? Roll me and investigate, I think will be fine. So what do you have that might be a jog my memory kind of...
Photographic memory, for sure.
Totally works.
Knows the city.
I'll take that one.
I don't know whether to go field tactics or police officer. What do you think? I'm thinking police officer, just general.
I think the first 2 would apply more than the other 2. This might not be an actual police reason why you possibly know this person.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm figuring.
So roll me and investigate with. Actually, you know what? Let me see. What do you have? That might still stand, but let me see what you have for.
I don't think any of the
Artemis.
Nature ones really.
What do your weaknesses? Must follow procedure. Maintain. Nope. You should. Oh man. Interesting. I'm not gonna call this tag out right now because of narrative purposes. I'm going to apply your weakness tag from your arrow relic. So
that's what I was afraid of.
So what that does is when I use one of your weaknesses, or when you decide to use your own weakness, you get to add 1 attention to your card. So if you check off one of those attention little triangles there at the top of that specific card, and what it does, it makes it go from a 2 to a 1, or it's +2 to a +1, because I basically take a minus to that. So you have 1 clue to ask that with. So your clue is, do you know this person? An 11 is still a full answer. You know that someone matching that description and bright red Chuck Taylors, the only person that comes to your mind is a kid named Ermi, who is one of Paulie's ex-bandmates.
Shit. Okay. Would Molly recognize that?
I don't know if it was just... I don't know if she would recognize it just by that description. She might know by the name.
Yeah, if she hears a name, I think she might be like, yeah, I know Oni.
I think I might know who that is. This is not good.
Kind of not good.
Ernie?
Ernie.
Wasn't that his?
Ernie? Like your brother's Ernie?
Yeah, this isn't looking good for my brother right now.
That doesn't make sense. It couldn't have been Ernie. Ernie was a good kid. Sometimes when he wanted to be.
Yeah, that's the part I'm worried about.
Can you tell me more about this person so that I can ask around?
Of my brother's. Judd, please don't get too excited about this until we know every little detail. Can you promise you're not going to publish anything until you figure this out?
I'm not going to do anything that's going to put it into jeopardy the opportunity to find what Spade had going on here.
Okay, good. I'm just checking because I know my family. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. I have a feeling that once I'm all done here, most all of your family's going to be sitting behind jail cells if I do the job right.
Art cringes really hard.
I'm just not going to miss my shot, per se. I'm going to keep my powder dry, and for right now, that seems to work in your favor.
Maggie's giving like Judd the nastiest look. Just
and like I've said, I know my brother isn't the cleanest, and my dad likes to clean up after him. I'm not gonna sit here and say they're innocent, but I still don't think they
Look, Art,
killed him.
Maybe you're right. Maybe we're going to find out that they're all squeaky clean. Who knows? It could go. It could go.
Let's not go that far. Artemis just like is being very honest.
My report might exonerate them. I don't think so. I don't think you think so. But we'll find out.
Oh, they're going to be in trouble, but I don't think either of these assholes are capable of murder. You poke Friday, I'll poke too. I'm gonna try to get to one of the lab techs. Will hold off for me as long as they can. She puts the pick back in her jacket. Molly, you go with Judd. Friday, if you want to put somebody on my tail, that works. And you and I can meet up, go to my favorite neighborhood. She just smiles at him.
You better check in with me regularly if you're down there in the Downs. I mean it.
I'll send you a text before we head there, and I'll do my best, but it's also going to look bad if I'm on my phone too much.
I might have a little something if you need eye in the sky.
She gives him a look.
It's so creepy.
Yeah, I want to change the game and pull a gadget out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I want it to be like.
She was just happy to see me.
I think it's like a pulls out like a little like metal kind of clockwork looking. Maybe it like looks like a little bit like a dragonfly, and it seems to like wake up as he pulls it out. And I want to have created this beforehand. It's like a living machine type deal.
Okay.
I want it to basically just be able to like fly above Artemis and Friday and kind of like feed me info and like, you know, send me an alert, a distress type deal.
Sure.
Basically just a little drone.
Yeah.
And so tags for this change the game I am hoping to use are life from fire and clay.
Okay, I'll take that.
Fire of creation and destruction.
I'll take that one.
Father of invention.
And we are, sorry, you weren't here last week, and I forgot to mention.
Oh.
We are capping out at 3 power.
Okay, yeah, so let's do those 3. Yeah,
bullshit.
So Fire of creation.
Total bullshit.
Life from fire and clay, and Father of invention.
I played in the other game, and I know.
Total bullshit.
Okay, let me see. What do we have for... Oh, perfect. Okay.
And
God.
I will roll change.
And I am
the
going to
game.
wait before you roll.
Oh fuck.
That's okay.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Oh my Christ!
Oh wait, hold
Wow.
on. How did it go with 0?
You didn't select them in your tags.
I
will
But
let you
either way,
reroll.
it's gonna be bad.
I will let you reroll. However, I am going to activate old shitty wiring.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So the idea initially was like when I do like too much stuff in my safe house, like I'm in like a shitty old building and like putting a stress on the electrical system. So I'm imagining like we're flashing back to him making this, right? Yeah. And he's like tapping into the.
I am down for that.
The electricity. Cool. All right, let's re-roll this. That's nice because otherwise I'm opening up this campaign on 2 ones.
What we can do is we'll bring in another rule into the game, flashback, which is a move we haven't used yet. Once per session, when you have the spotlight, and right now Judd does, you may describe an action carried out in the past and make a roll for it. So essentially, we're going to flashback. So Judd says, "I might have something for that," and reaches into his pocket. Camera cuts back to weeks ago where Judd is in his safe house, and you can see, like, actually, Judd, describe us the scene here as we are in your safe house and you are making this device.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think we see Judd in like maybe like a little section of his safe house is kind of like almost like a workbench, but more like electrical equipment than anything. We probably see like a half-built like a half-built router and like a pineapple, if you know what that kind of device is. Like he's just playing around with like mostly like security devices and like network device, like encryption kind of stuff, but also some like cameras and shit. But I think like we see him kind of tinkering around, and we see it's kind of nothing right now, right? It's like just a bunch of like different parts and wires. And then we see Judd look around as though he's like trying to make sure that like nobody's there, even though of course he's in an empty apartment. And then like kind of nervously, hesitantly, like picks up a fork and sticks it into the socket. And it looks like it should just like electrocute the shit out of him. But in that moment, we like kind of like see him getting electrocuted and like see his skeleton. And it's almost like there's like a silhouette of some sort of figure behind him. And the electricity is sort of channeled into the workbench and it burns with this blazing light. And then there's this little metallic creature, this living machine, dragonfly that is kind of fluttering its wings and takes its first steps.
Okay. So make that roll with, I believe, 3 power tags and 1 weakness tag.
So to make sure I'm doing this on my sheet right, do I mark them on the card or do I do it?
You click the box.
on the card.
You click the box on the card, and then you hit the change the game roll.
I was hitting the burn thing instead of the box.
That means you burned it. Yep.
Yep. Okay, and then we're doing old shitty wiring. And cool. Now we've got it. All right, that's a little better.
Okay, so you have 2 juice to spend here. And you can create a story tag, which is your creature. And that's it. You can create or reduce a status, but you don't have any. So you can.
What's the dragonfly? What's the dragonfly from Spyro? That's the tag's name.
Oh, okay. Cool. So Spyro.
So yeah, I'll spend 1 to create it, and then I can spend 1.
His name is Sparks with an X, which is also perfect.
I can't prolong. Oh, it's Sparks.
So
perfect.
the way a power tag or a story tag works is you have this story tag, you have it. This exists now. However, when you use it to make a roll, it is no longer usable in the future to make a roll unless you prolong it. So on a 7 to 9, you can't prolong.
I guess so. Can I like give a helpful with my like last juice? Could I give a helpful status to Artemis?
Sure.
Like watched over or something like that.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, here's how we'll do this, little behind-the-scenes mechanics here. For Judd, down below your cards, you can see that there are tracking cards. Make one of them a story tag, which is like the toe tag looking thing, and put sparks, and make that a 1. For Artemis, same kind of thing. Below all your cards, you'll see the tracking cards. Hit the one that says, has like a little toe tag on it, and then type where it says tag, type watched over, and that is also a 1. And you can click on that. And both of those should have the plus sign on the bottom right-hand corner of those cards checked. And for chat, I believe I can do this. Kapow! Everyone's back in color. How weird. I can show you this kind of thing. So, as we can see, we just made sparks right here.
Woo.
Welcome to your behind-the-scenes look at City of Mist on the internet. Cool. So, you pull out, you reach in your pocket and say, I think I have something for that, and you pull out this dragonfly, and you're welcome to describe the end of that scene.
Yeah. So I pull it out and it like kind of flutters its wings a little bit, and, like gets them up to speed where they're like a blur, and then I'll like hover up and just like land on Artemis's shoulder unless she does something.
Perfect. And I think with that note, that's where we'll end this episode.
Okay.
Oh, Molly, you got
Molly's
something?
got something.
Can we end on something a little like I just want to slip something in.
Yes, please set it up.
So just to like a little cliffhanger for people. So I'm assuming that Judd and Molly took his car, and I wanted to do a flashback for Molly.
Okay.
A bit of a vague one. So as they're sitting in the car, it's raining as always. The sun is, I guess maybe it's like around noon, but you can never tell because it's always overcast and it's foggy and it's just grim. Now that they're alone and quiet in the car, Molly has calmed down a bit and she's quiet and she's staring out the window and she thinks back to not too long ago. And what she's thinking, she's at the club in a VIP room, and she's sitting not too comfortably on someone's lap, and there's a few men in the room with guns, and she can feel a gun pressed into her rib. As she's being spoken to. And that scene kind of she's ending this whole thing kind of shook with everything that's kind of come into her thoughts as this is all happening.
Interesting. Okay, so let's play off this for a second here, because let's twist the knife. So when you use the mechanical flashback, it results in some kind of roll. So what's happening in this scene? Is this where the scene ends and we just sort of fade out here? Or does Molly get away from the scene? Or does Molly sit tight and listen for more information? What's happening in this scene that makes Molly so uncomfortable? Besides the gun in your ribs, of course.
It came about whenever they finally said that he didn't kill himself, he was murdered.
Okay.
And so she kind of had some realizations.
Interesting. So you're saying this flashback somehow ties to Sam's death?
Yes.
Great. Roll me and investigate. What skills, what power tags do you feel apply to your ability to investigate this scene?
I can use the Kingsman access to secrets.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I don't know how do I roll
on the card itself where it says access to secrets. See the little square next to it?
Yeah.
Check that square.
Okay.
Okay. Now you have up to 2 more power tags that you can use.
Okay, and so on Devil Inside Me,
Yep.
Connections in the Dark.
Yep, love it.
And Underground Information.
I'll take it. And I am going to enact your weakness tag. You have no authority here. So what that means is you check that box, and then you can check off the attention at the top of that card as well. And then roll investigate on the top of your character sheet. Okay, so you have a 9. So what that means is you get to ask me 2 questions, and I get to expose you to danger or give you fuzzy information. So in this scene regarding the case here, the death of Sam, what 2 questions do you ask me about this?
Can I ask the 3 of them to mute their audio for this?
Yes, why not? Let's do that. Everyone, headphones off. Let's have this little scene. Go for it.
I want to know if Artemis's brother was brought up in this conversation, because this conversation is, and I spoke a little bit about this, but is with some people that are tied high up in the mob. And Molly's trying to think back in that. I think why she's thinking back on this, she's trying to think back and try to remember if Artemis's brother or Ernie were brought up at all, and them questioning her on certain things.
No, neither one of those names were brought up. That's one of your clues. What's your second question?
I'm trying to think and not like give too many spoilers in this. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think of like the good question of some, because I imagine okay. Do these people know how close Molly was to Sam?
Oh. They don't. They have no idea how close you were to Sam.
Okay.
However, because you rolled a 7 to 9, the night that you left the club, that night when you left the club, you noticed you have a car, right?
No? Shakes cab.
Okay, so you notice that as you get into the cab to head home, there was a black, nice town car that turned its lights on as you got in, and you're pretty sure that car followed you for a bit that night. And that is where we end the episode. Yeah, so everyone, headphones back on. We are good here. That is where we're going to end tonight's episode, on some mystery that only Molly knows. I like that.
No spoilers yet.
Yeah, let's go around, do our introductions. We'll get the hell out of here, and then we will record our Patreon-only after show. If you guys want a piece of that, go check us out on Patreon. Links down below. We'll start with, that bomb dropper. We'll start with Kitty. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hi, I am Awkward Kitty Inc. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, everywhere else in between. I do a lot of role play. I do a lot of survival games, and I make a lot of art. Right now, I'm playing a lot of Last Oasis. So if you like crazy Dune World madness and some PvP and good laughs, then come and check me out.
Alrighty. Speaking of some sweet, sweet RP, Cherry, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
RP as well, and getting back into the tarot thing. We did a whole long tarot stream yesterday. That was nice. Yeah. I'm Cherry Babam on Twitch, Cherry Babam 7 on Twitter, etc. You can find all my links on either of those pages. Come hang out sometime.
Hell yeah. Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Video store, a cowboy everywhere. This week we're going to try to get our Tales from Loop show off the ground on my channel. Technical issues have been worked out. Thank you, Zoom / slobs for being a pain in the butt. And this Saturday we're recording the next of the Dark Fortune sessions.
Oh, that's right. That's this Saturday. Shit.
That's this Saturday. And so I am given the response from the last episode, I am looking forward to introducing even more of a shit show for you guys. So
this was a good one, guys. If you haven't checked out the Dark Fortunes podcast, please go do so. It is our D&D 5e podcast where we are taking the Humblewood setting, changing the setting, and making it pirates. It's really freaking cool, and I'm having a blast. Playing a shitheel of a character so far. He's kind of an ass. So it's great. With that, we will transition over to Sam, who is not the dead Sam in this game, just regular Sam. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to, Sam?
I am Sam, aka the Wizened Fool on Twitter, Wizened Fool on Twitch. I am going to be On Sundays, playing BattleTech Oath of Endosteel on AP Gaming Reels, Patreon, and YouTube. It's mostly a Patreon thing, but it releases week late on YouTube, and that's a lot of fun. BattleTech mixed with King Arthur Pendragon. Other than that, I will be here, and I had a blast. I'm glad to be showing up here after missing last week, and I will say, if people in the chat notice that every time somebody says Sam in this game, I like twitch a little bit. Like that is fully like me, like trying not to be like, what? So yeah, that's good.
I am loving it. Yeah, guys, if you want to support the channel and the things we do here, please subscribe here on Twitch or subscribe over on our Patreon. If you want to chat about this game and all the other games we're running, to include the podcast, join us in our Discord. Links for all those things down below. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go film our after show and put that on Patreon tonight. So that being said, we're all out of here. So from all of us to you, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.